session, we are going to see how to connect Python to database, okay, or how to connect database via Python program, okay. Now we all know that there can be two storage mechanism which is widely categorized. First is we can store it into our file system, just like any other operating system. We create multiple files. That files can be audio, video, text files, and we can store a lot of data into that, okay. And the second type of storage is database, okay, or RDBMS, relational database management system. So in this database system, basically we store the data into a structured format, okay. What is that structured? We are not going into much detail into it, but structure is nothing but table which consists rows and columns, okay. It's the tabular format. So whatever data we store into RDBMS database like MySQL and Oracle, it has to be a structured format in tabular format, okay. Now how we can connect to that database via Python, right? So sometimes it happens that we have to extract the data from particular table and then use it, okay. So how to do that? It is simple 4-step process, okay. We'll see the first step. What is the first step? First step is connect to DB, okay. How we can connect to DB? So I'll write it here. First is create the connection. This is the first step. Create a connection. So now there are multiple packages which are available in Python. You can simply do pip install and the package name for that particular vendor. Now even in databases, there can be multiple vendors. There can be MySQL, there can be Oracle, there can be Netezza. Okay, these are various vendors which provides the database databases services or the product. Okay. So for each vendor, they have their own package, own Python package to connect to their database. Okay. So for MySQL, I think the package name is MySQL-connector. Okay. So what you can do is how to connect to DB. First, import that package. How to import? Import firstly pip install mysql.connector. I'm not sure about the name. You can Google it later. But this is how you first pip install it, right? Once you pip install, then you have to import that that package MySQL connector. Okay, pretty easy. This is the first step, how to connect to DB. Now after that, what we have to do is once we have imported this package, right? So in that package, there are multiple methods to connect to this database. So there is one method called connect. Okay, so I have already written a program for you. So if you see import mysql.connector, sorry, it's not hyphen, it's dot. Okay, import mysql.connector, and I'm just giving it as a nickname MC as a short form. Okay, now establish a connection to MySQL. Okay, how to establish a connection? There is one method called connect. Okay, this is a method. You see the function. It is a function, right, inside the MySQL this module or this package. MySQL connector. There is one function called connect, and it takes 5 arguments. Okay, what are those 5 arguments? Host, port, user password, and database. Okay, so the second step basically, or the sub step we can say, is use dot connect method with 5 arguments. Okay, what are those 5 arguments? Host, port, username, password, and database. Actual database in which all the tables are present, right? So this is the sub step. Okay, once you pip install your package, import that package, and from that package use dot connect method with these 5 arguments, your step 1 is done. You have connected to database. Okay, and this method can be different for different vendors. For example, for Oracle, it might be connector method. Okay, it's 80% same, but I mean, the gist is same, but the syntax can be different. So this is the first step. Now, what is the second step? Second step is create a cursor. Okay, second step is create a cursor. Now, what is a cursor? Cursor is nothing but cursor is an object through which we can execute queries in DB. We can pass and execute. Pass and execute. Okay, so I'll explain it. So we have to create a cursor. Okay, second step is create a cursor. Now cursor is an object through which we can pass and execute the query. Now query, whatever we are writing, we will write in Python, right? So if you see here, the query we are writing, it's in Python, right? But how to pass this query to actual database which we have just created, right? Which we have just connected. How to pass to that? So for that, we'll need some cursor. And how to create a cursor? Using this dot cursor attribute or a function, right? So what we have done, firstly we have used connect method and create a variable of that database. From that variable or that object, again we have used one attribute called cursor. Okay, now that cursor we are storing into this variable, my cursor variable. Okay, now using this my cursor variable, we are using dot execute method. You see dot execute method. This method actually passes this query string to database and actually execute it. So this is pass query. Okay, we are passing query from Python to database and executing it here, executing it in database. Okay, for to pass this query we need cursor. Okay, that's what we have created here. Okay, we have passed the query. Now the third step is get the results back to Python. Okay, because query is executed in mysql database, right? And result is generated there itself. Now how to get it back? So this is the third step. This is second step. This is third step. Get back the results. How to get back the results? Simple. Using the cursor. Using cursor, there is one attribute called fetch all. Right? Because we want all the records, right? So there is one attribute called fetch all, and we are storing it into results. Now from the database, all the results or all the records we received got into Python variable or inside the Python. You see, again we have cursor, okay, to execute and to get the data also. Now I can add it, execute the query in DB and get results back in Python as well. Using which? Using fetch all attribute. And how to pass and execute query in DB? It's using execute method or execute attribute. Okay, I hope this is clear. I hope this is clear. Okay, get back Python via fetch all. Okay, and once it's in Python, simply use loop, for loop, and print each record. Simple. I'll go through 4 steps again. Okay. First step is import connect. Okay, import the MySQL connector. Connect, create the database object. For connect, we need 5 variables: host, port, user, password, database. Create the object. Using that object, create a cursor. Cursor helps to execute the query in the database, pass the query, execute the query, and get the results. Okay. To execute the query, the attribute is .execute, and inside that we have to pass the query. How to get results back? Using fetch all, store it into the any variable, and then using loop print the result. Now let's quickly try to execute it. Okay, we got all the result. You see, this is one record, this is second record, third record, fourth record, and we got all the records. See here. This is how you connect to database